All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News. Oops. All right. All right. There we go. Is that too loud? Is that okay? Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all feeling? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. We're live on Rockfin, YouTube, Callin, and on Twitter. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me every day on the internets. Right. And I did get a tip from Denver yesterday at the end of the show, but I closed the show before I could say thanks or catch it. So thanks, Denver. Appreciate you. Let's see. Doing it a little old school today. I enjoy this new time, my friends. But I'm trying to do so many things right when I right when I get up. I'm trying to do several things, so I'm having a hard time starting right at 9. Oops. Because we're doing it old school, I can't remember there we go. I got to remember not to do that. Because we're starting right at 9, I'm really trying to get quite a few things together as quickly as I can. Fleur Ali, yes, I saw something like that too. I don't know. I love that you guys are so so woke. What's up? Hey Brady, what's going on, man? We'll do this. This is not a general thing that happens, but we'll take a call right at the beginning of the show. How you doing, Brady?
Doing well. Just wanted to say there's been an update in psychedelic science. They've found some information to suggest that psychedelic mushrooms might be helpful in mitigating ADD.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, it's been proven, or there have been a lot of studies around psychedelics helping people with addiction and depression and other things, right? So I don't see why that, wouldn't be the case with other things that people are experiencing or suffering.
Yeah, and the effects are long-term, safe, and effective.
Interesting. As it seems to be a thing that as we get deeper into a technological age, we start understanding how old ways were more effective, right? And they were actually, natural, kind of older. I'm trying to I'm not finding the correct word that I'm looking for right now, but
Yeah, it's like the further away we got from nature, the more we realize we really how important it is, and we
yeah,
shouldn't leave it behind us in our
yeah,
endeavors.
yeah. These older, I don't know if you want to call them. Certainly there are things that don't make sense for people to do. Like back in the day, they used to do some leeching and bloodletting and stuff like that. I don't know, and maybe there might actually be um, something
But
scientific behind that. But what I'm saying is, right, natural remedies which have been for at least a century or more uh, kind of pushed down and pushed away in favor of petroleum based and or these like
and it
tech
turns out that
remedies are
psychedelics are actually one of the greatest mysteries of humankind, and there's been a psychedelic renaissance in the classics community. They're starting to realize that the ancient mysteries and rituals they're performing in ancient Greece were centered around psychedelics and drugs and all kinds of really crazy stuff. Um,
I wonder how much of how much of the mythology or religious um, things have been influenced by psychedelics, right? I mean,
all of them.
you know,
The short answer is all of them, really.
because humans, back in
uh,
the day, I'm sure were just. I mean, how so many things came into being. You wonder, like, how did that happen? And a lot of it is just like experimentation or just dumb luck. Like, oh, how does this taste? Or what if I mix these things together? What happens if I do this? Right? And then some of those things turned out disastrously for the experimenter, but I'm sure a lot of people just ate plants and they
yeah,
were like suddenly
they
like, oh
started
my
finding
god, I
stuff.
see I see aliens coming down from the sky.
Yeah, believe it or not, it actually explains human evolution a lot better than aliens because psychedelics actually activate the top cortex in our brain, which is the human part of our brain. The part that distinguishes humans from animals is that neocortex,
Hmm.
specifically the top cortex, which involves imagination, intuition, empathy, those kind of things. And
Sure.
it actually stimulates that part of the brain. So it leads a lot of evidence to suggest that human evolution was largely influenced by the drugs we were taking.
Yeah, and oh, who was it that was talking about Christianity being heavily influenced by mushrooms? I can't think of his name right now. Anyways, it's theory
It
that
might have been Ruck, um, or I forget who wrote the mushroom and the Holy Cross. But yeah, I know here. I think they were talking about Amanita in that
mm,
one in particular. And I think it's a little more complicated than that. It wasn't just mushrooms they were using, but a large variety of drugs, like all kinds of different drugs for all kinds of different purposes. And it wasn't just psychedelics they were using. They were using, like I said, all kinds of drugs.
sure. Yeah, and I don't. I'm going to let you go in a second, Brady. I don't use any drugs myself, but I have in the past, and I fully believe they can be a gateway or a pathway to seeing the world in a different, in a way that's much more holistic, right? You can see how
And
everything is connected, and you can see, and also be open to right greater understanding of yourself and the things around you. And
it
um
can
and I think that
it can have
people should strive to find those things out on their without the help of drugs. But drugs can show you the way sometimes, right? Sometimes you just need a
psych-
kind of in the same way that they
psychedelics
in
like
the
cannabis and mushrooms can be very helpful. Psychedelics like LSD can be very helpful, but also very dangerous. So
yeah,
some psychedelics are more safe than others. But
sure.
as far as other drugs are concerned, they have all kinds of uses. Some of them have no side effects, and we call them medicine. And they're just basically good to take. And vitamin C could be considered a drug.
Right.
Uh, but psychedelics in particular are incredibly beneficial with very few very mitigatable, easily mitigatable side effects that aren't really that bad.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, thanks for that, Brady. I appreciate you. Um, Thanks for calling in.
Course.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Well, all right, cool. Interesting beginning to the show. Let's well, but I think it all ties in together. All of it ties in together, right? We might be getting further away and trying to find, you know, uh, a scientific or technological understanding of the universe. We get, you know, get farther away from a simpler, more holistic, deeper understanding of the universe, right? A more um, immediate understanding. Anyways, okay. Let's see. COP 28 is beginning tomorrow. Doomer Girl News says, let's make a deal. Thanks for the. I got, obviously, my thumbnail from her. um, I think everybody knows what's happening with COP 28. It's a meeting where governments will discuss how to limit and prepare for future climate change. Well, all righty. COP stands for Conference of Parties. Well, the parties are the countries that signed up to the original UN climate agreement in 1992, and we have done so much since then. We've made so much progress. And by that, I mean no progress. Like no progress. Oh, I keep doing this. Sorry. Um, I got to quit. Quit with my scrolling. I think you're getting confused on the screen. Sorry about that. Oh, let me see. Just checking in on Rockfin. What's up, people of Rockfin? Flora Ali asking very good questions on Rockfin. Why are people not more tired of wars, killing, and genocide? Why do people allow it? That's what I want to know. Why are we okay with it? Why do we keep, you know, we somehow tacitly agree that like we need all these weapons in the military because to keep us safe from people that are going to come get us, and it's like we live in a we live in a world run by toddlers, who are very serious people, but they're toddlers nonetheless, mentally toddlers. Like you know, you think people just are going to come get your stuff with a big, you know, and yes, historically, yes, that happens. Um, right, we're invading hordes or people with bigger and better weapons can come take your stuff. Isn't it time for humanity to evolve past that? Because I feel like that's a very low level of consciousness, you know, and we now have, you know, information, we have the internet, we have better understanding of how we work. You know, we have a lot, we have a lot at our fingertips, you know, and we don't have to live this way anymore. Um, okay. Going back. Why am I doing that? All right. Stop seeing two of me on the screen. Documents linked to the BBC suggest the UAE plan to use its role as a host to strike oil and gas deals. Well, there you go. Mr. Jabber. There he is. Hey. Has previously argued that he is uniquely well placed to push for action from the oil and gas industry, and that as a chairman of renewable energy firm Masdar, he has also oversees a chairman of a renewable energy firm. Nice. He has also overseen the expansion of clean technologies like wind and solar power. Yeah, well, the clean technologies are just another lever for more industrialization. Just another product to sell on the shelves of products. Well, do you want to go buy a gas car or do you want to buy an electric car? Do you want to go buy you want to go to the gas station? Or you want to go to the electric station? Do you want to, pay for energy from a coal-fired power plant, or do you want solar panels on your roof? Some of those things might obviously seem like better choices, but they all come from the same place. And without a serious reckoning about the amount of consumption and energy that we're using overall as a species, without talking about that, without having a conversation about that, none of it really matters. Which is why it's so popular to say stuff like, they're going to take away all your stuff, and no, we need to make more babies because there's a population bust happening. Oh, they are really afraid of the population going down. I just saw a story about South Korea. Is it South Korea? Is having like a collapse in birth rates. And they're absolutely panicked about a dropping population. Why are they panicked about a dropping population? Because if your population drops, your economy will drop. I don't know if it'll, most likely collapse, but drop. They're absolutely, and so is, Elon Musk is a great spokesman for getting out there and making the babies because we need more consumers and workers and people to do the things. Right? And nobody wants to talk about that, and it's very that's an unpopular conversation. You can't have that conversation because on the left you're a racist, on the right you're Klaus Schwab and the WEF. It's been absolutely completely demonized to have that conversation. You're an absolute lunatic if you want to talk about population. There's a reason for that, because that's the actual problem, and they don't want you talking about that problem. They want to demonize anybody who talks about that problem. And it's been very effective. That campaign, that information campaign, has been extremely effective. Because that's a lowering of consciousness. They've got you thinking it's anti-human or anti-other people to talk about population, when actually, if you were a thinking person, if you were a person of higher consciousness or being able to think about things in a deeper way, you would understand, well, if there's too many people in my house eating all the stuff, that's going to be bad for everybody. Right? If I have like so much food in my house or so many, vegetables in my garden, and I allow, or I create a bunch of humans that are going to eat more food than I have or more food than I can create, that's a problem. That's not a really difficult thing to understand, right? And people think that way all the time. I have too many rodents in my yard. I have, I can't keep letting my cat have babies. I can't keep, right? My dog had puppies. I can't keep them all. I got to give them away. I got to do something with these puppies because I can't feed them all. right? You make these decisions every day. Humans make these decisions every day. So it's not that weird of a thought to think like, well, if there's too many humans on the planet, we might just, right? Or too many humans in a particular area, we might eat ourselves out of the ability to feed ourselves. So that's just a higher conscious. That's just a more logical, more intelligent way to think about the problem. But they don't want you thinking about it. They've got you stuck in this thing where you have to think about it like on a lowest common denominator way. Oh, that's anti-human. They don't like you. They hate you. They want to kill you. They want to take away your stuff. Like they've got you thinking in this like fear-based, reptilian, kind of way about like, oh, they're going to take my stuff. They hate me. They're going to kill me. Like, okay. Right? Or the people who talk about that, they hate other people. They're racist. They're just bad. They're nasty people and they just want to hurt other people. Anyways. Just, stop with the whole like, they've used fear in a way to control how people think and talk about this. And it's very effective. But what you should be afraid of is the apocalypse that happens when people eat all the stuff and then you don't have any more stuff. Or people have degraded the topsoil to the point that you can't grow any more stuff. Or people have damaged the climate to the point where you can't grow any more stuff. And then there's no more stuff to eat. And then everybody's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? You should actually be afraid of that moment, which is fast approaching. That's the thing you should be afraid of. But they don't want you thinking about that because they want you to continue to wake up every day and go to work and buy the gas and buy your car and buy your stuff and buy your things. And you do it. Right? Anyways. Oh, yeah. I don't know how many times I can say the same thing over and over. Anyways, they're saying that long-term warming, I love this distinction they're making, long-term and short-term warming. Long-term warming currently stands at about 1.1 C or 1.2 C. Excuse me, compared with pre-industrial times. The period before humans started burning fossil fuels at scale. That's what they're saying. However, recent estimates suggest the world is currently on track for about 2.4 C to 2.7 C of warming by 2100. Again, they are. This language is supposed to get you to feel like, well, that's a scary, what you just described about having no food to eat, that seemed awfully scary. But the reason why they're couching this in this way on this article is to make everybody feel like, whoa, man, we got to do something about that. But luckily, that's a long way off. It's 2100. And we're not at 1.5 C yet, which we absolutely are. We are at 1.5 C. They're lying to you about how warm it is on the planet. And I know everybody in the comments is going to be like, what are you talking about? It's like 2.5 already. I know. I'm trying to get in between somewhere where here and I don't know, whatever. But this language is absolutely designed to make you think like, well, the problem is scary, but it's not too close to me. Right? It's not going to affect me. I can keep doing everything I'm doing? Fine. Great. Like that's what they want you to know. All of it is designed to keep you going and keep you on the track of like, this is how we do all the things. This is how we live. This is how we organize ourselves on planet Earth. This is how humans are. Yeah, the powers that be. Tim Bob, yes. Um, oh, I love the acronym they, the hierarchy enslaving you. Anyways, fast tracking the move to clean energy sources to slash greenhouse gas emissions before 2030. That's what they're going to try and do. Delivering money for climate action. But remember that all of this fast tracking to clean energy sources requires a whole lot of burning of the fossil fuels. Delivering money for climate action from richer to poorer countries and working on a new deal for developing nations. Focusing on nature and people. Focusing on nature and people. Really? That was really one of their bullet points? I mean, that's cool. And making COP28 the most inclusive ever. Inclusive. Inclusive. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? A UK Prime Minister, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. I think all the people when the whole world is in a really bad place, I think that includes everyone. So it's totally inclusive. Exactly. Poppy Davis says it means including oil barons. So that yes. Ding ding ding. What are the sticking points going to be? Likely a disagreement about the future of unabated fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, which are burned without technologies to capture their emissions. My God. You don't even have a carbon capture thing on that smokestack? What are you? What are you, a crazy person? Osama, nobody's representing nature, but we're just going to focus on nature and people. Okay. By flying in our planes all the way there to the United Arab Emirates. We're going to get in our planes. We're going to fly all the way there. We're going to walk around. We're going to eat, totally focusing on nature and people. Hmm? Well, let's look at this. Deal to keep 1.5C hopes alive is within reach, says COP28 president. This guy. I am serious. I'm a very serious person. This guy. Yeah. Believe me, says that face. Um, uh, so they're gonna keep. So this is what they're going with. Keep hope alive. That's what they. That's like this. The unofficial slogan of COP28 is "Keep hope alive." Keep hope. Keep alive hopes of limiting global temperature rises to 1.5C. Even though we're already did it. We did it. It's done. How long are they going to be able to keep telling people that like we have not passed the 1.5 C guardrail? It was going to keep warming well below 2C, well below. Um, 70,000 delegates are expected. 70,000. And they had to go there personally. They couldn't even just get, you know, now would be a really great time for like a Zoom meeting, like a Zoom call. A couple of cameras. Everybody could have just stayed home. No, 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 no. We got to go. It's party time. It is party time, and we're still partying, people. We're the party people. We came here to party. The 1.5C target is slipping rapidly out of reach as temperatures soar and carbon emissions continue to rise. Yeah. Sultan Al Jaber has insisted that leading COP28 will help him engage businesses and other oil producers, including Saudi Arabia, and close ally of UAE and the world's second biggest oil producer behind the U.S. Saudi Arabia has long been seen as an obstructive element in the annual conferences of the parties. Okay. Some countries want to phase out of fossil fuels while others are resisting. A compromise commitment to a phase down of unabated fossil fuels. There we go. There's the language. So we're not going to phase out fossil fuels. We're going to phase down unabated emissions. That's the answer. That's what we're going with. Well, it's the not capturing of the carbon emissions that's the problem. And we want to phase that down, the not capturing. And surely that will lead us on the road to salvation. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, good times. Good times. Surely. Is anybody watching on Twitter? I can't tell. I can never tell if anybody's watching on Twitter. People are on some people on Rockfin. Got some people on Colin. All right, cool. Let's keep going because I kind of lost my. Anyways, Americans love avocados and it's killing Mexico's forests, says Steve Austin. Sophie Gabrielle, if we go much above 2C, what is much above? Is that different than well below? Don't go much above. Definitely stay well below. If we go much above 2C, we will quickly get to 4C anyway because of the tipping points and feedbacks, which would spell the end of human civilization. Well, yeah, that's why you don't want to go to those. That's why you don't want to get to those temperatures because, right, once it starts warming faster. But the original guardrail was 1C. 1C, which we're super past 1C. Far past. Even though in that last article, they were trying to tell you that we're at, 1.1 or 1.2. So kind of we're still kind of far away from 1.5. That is an absolute lie. Anyways. The updated climate spiral. The climate seems to spiral out of control. Well, yeah. That's how spirals work. In the next months, temperature increase will likely temporarily cross the 2C line. Well, didn't it already? Leon Simons? Didn't we already spike past 2? I swear to God. His head does look like an avocado. And also very waxy. Yeah, so this is where we're at. The spiral gets bigger as it goes out. Gains momentum. In 2023, 5 record warm months in a row. 5 record warm months in a row. So this is the global temperature change. This, showing. Sorry, maybe we won't do the moving one. It's showing that we're above 1.5 C, right? And we've been above here, 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 literally pretty much the entire year except for the month of May. So how is it that we're not at 1.5 C right now? We've been at like 1.5 for pretty much the entire year. But, obviously they don't want to let you know anything. Joseph, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. All things
I
considered.
just thought of an analogy because, the struggles that you're having with all the reports going 1.5, 2C. It's kind of like boiling a pot of water and holding a thermometer in the atmosphere above it
Mm-hmm.
and dictating the temperature in the pot by what you read in the vapors.
Right.
And it's kind of silly if the reports that they put out don't include the acceleration rate and change in temperature of surrounding largest bodies of water, Pacific, Atlantic, then they're really just throwing darts at a wall and hoping one of them gets noticed.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. It's hard to make sense of where it's really at, and then you have all these baselines, and
kind of crazy.
it is. But I think most of the people, I think, that have their finger on the pulse, or they're closer to reality about where we're at, I think, all of those people are pretty sure that we're, above 1.5.
Yeah, but what does it mean to them? Like, do they think that if we stop or reduce a certain particular type of consumption, that will reverse or stop?
I actually don't think that the people that understand that, the people that have come to that point of like, well, yeah, we're at 1.5 and we're real close to 2 and probably going to be there soon. Like, I don't anybody who's come to that point, I don't think I think they understand that it's not a matter of, I mean, hopefully there might be a few people out there, but I don't think it's not a matter of, unabated carbon emissions or switching over to renewable energy. I think all of those people are well aware that
I hope you're right.
a
really
much
do.
deeper game is afoot. But
Much deeper, yes.
It's just a weird time right now. I think you have a confluence of things happening. Some of those things are, well, we're actually, I mean, all the evidence and the data and the way things look tell us that we're kind of entering a period of acceleration, right? In warming.
Because the ocean's
Yeah.
basically reaching capacitance, yeah.
Yeah, and we've hit that moment where we're going to get accelerating warming, and we don't know how fast it's going to accelerate. But then you have a lot of people, you have a lot of, I don't know, delusion or resistance to this because on an emotional human level, like you don't really want to engage, you don't want to embrace it, you don't want to accept it, you don't want to be aware of it, and it's hard, and it's and things are still relatively normal. So it's still very easy for people to go, it's
in the countries with resources. It is anyway.
Yeah.
Or with access to resources, I should say.
Yeah, but I mean, like you can still go get in your car, go to the store, buy some food. You can still turn on your lights, turn on your water, turn on your gas. Like, nothing is really changed for a lot of people, except for the people that are experiencing like, extreme weather events, or maybe people in countries where there is serious water and food deprivation. And there are people experiencing that, but like for the most part, everything is business as usual. So until we hit a moment where it's not, you know, there are going to be plenty of people, even people who are totally and completely aware of the situation with regards to the climate, that are going to be like, yeah, it's not that bad, you know, or willing to accept something a little less harsh or a little less serious, you know, in order to keep that illusion going that we, you know, there's some time left or whatever.
Wouldn't it be nice if those of us, you, me, others, who are looking and keeping track of all this in some way, wouldn't it be nice if they had a working example of an earthen environment that helps rather than harms, as we've spoken before? For when it gets to that point, those people will have something to look at and work towards rather than just panic and mayhem.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. But again, I just don't see a lot of people out there. You're presenting people with a reality that it's too far. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that some people can't understand it and some people can't get it, but like Jem Bendel has been saying for a while, that, you know, we're going to have to work on adaptation. We're going to have to work, you know, we're not going to mitigate necessarily anything.
No, yeah, he's right about that.
And so we're going to have to just kind of figure out what the next step is when that point comes, when things are not normal. I mean, it would be obviously appropriate and intelligent to do those things before the bad things happen, right? To prepare now. That would actually be the intelligent way to go, right? Like, okay, well, this is where we're going in the future. The future is not as far off as we think it is. So it would be really great if society could start kind of steering itself in another direction so that we're kind of bracing for impact a little bit, you know, we're already living in another way, so that when the impact comes, it's not going to be like, oh my God, what is happening? People screaming in the streets and running, you know, whatever.
Well,
which is the thing I don't want to see. Like, I really don't want to see. You know, I'm more pro human. You know, even though I'm saying stuff that people might be like, oh, what? You know, that's ridiculous. You're, you know, whatever. The people that don't really understand what's going on. You know, my proposal or my thoughts on this, I think, are way more pro-human than anything, than not considering the likelihood. I saw, you know, interesting thing, man. I was listening to a show that is generally very heavy on the whole climate hoax thing, and I actually heard that they actually played a clip from it was in the context of the Gaza war, so in a way it was kind of like it was kind of a slide from the side, you know. But they were actually speaking. They actually were playing a clip from like a climate impact professional or whatever, and I was like, what? Like, you guys are actually playing something that is kind of acknowledging that there's like an impact to the climate from what, you know, from someone who is a climate impact right expert. I was like, whoa, what does this mean? You know, are you acknowledging something quietly here? Or are you shifting something?
It would be nice to ask them that.
Yeah. I was just, you know, it just made me think like, oh, you know, you spend all day saying that climate change is a hoax, and now you're playing a clip from a climate impact expert. Like, okay.
I have been watching
you know, okay.
every morning in different languages, you know, Russian largely, and people that are commenting, they certainly seem aware.
Yeah. I mean, regular ass people are so aware of what's going on, right? It wouldn't be really it's not a far stretch if somebody actually came out and said, "Hey, yeah, we're going to be at like 2C like next year, so, guys, like it wouldn't be a stretch for a lot of people to go like, "Yeah, we knew that." We see what's happening.
Well,
Farmers
now
see it
all we
too.
need is a revolution in
Right.
common spirit against everyone's core beliefs about society.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Maybe we could just let go of needing to play the game, right?
that'd be
It's
something
like the
serious.
war game. Like we don't, don't have to fight the people that are waging the wars. You just need to just stop engaging, stop supporting,
Right.
stop like, no, I'm not doing this. If everybody was just like, nope, I'm good.
Sort of a
Every
metropolis in reverse.
yeah, I mean, and you see, oh man, I that made me forget that I had an article about, there are several people in the State Department who are, and another person stepped down from the State Department, right? There was Josh Paul, but another person in the State Department like stepped down because of the Joe Biden's policy with regards to Israel. And like, so you have people within the ranks saying like, no, I'm not going to do this. And if so, all it takes is for enough people to go like, nope, I'm not playing. I'm not doing it. And then what are you left, what are you left with?
It'll be interesting to see, Kevin.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well,
right. Well,
thank you very much.
yeah, man. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to have to, I actually need to wrap up the show all of a sudden, but thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We covered a few things today. It was a little different today. That's all right. Actually, different is good. Real quick before I let you go, the whole babies in the incubator thing. Horrific crime discovered in Al Rantisi Hospital. After invading Israeli forces forced all the doctors and staff to evacuate, the ICRC promised NICU babies would be taken to a safe place. They were in the intensive care unit. Parents returned to the hospital today to find their preemie babies dead and decomposing in their cots. Jesus Christ. So there you go. There you go. Maybe that'll help people understand who the villains are, so we don't have to have people in my chats going, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't actually think that. Honestly, don't think that those people. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I understand people have different opinions, but it's like, okay. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Of course, there are ways to. You were wondering, how do I support this show? Because I love this show. It's my jam. You can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. Cash App at Red Llama Music. Venmo at Kevin Sandbloom. PayPal.me/Kevin Sandbloom. You can Zelle me at kevinsandbloom at protonmail.com. All those links are in the description. You know the deal. All right, guys. Appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.